How's everybody doing today? My name is Steven Rosenberg. This is Ginzburg, and welcome to Marketing Success in Under 10 Minutes. We have a phenomenal show laid out for you guys today. Jean, how are you doing so far?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much, Steven. I love being on the show. I love doing the show with you.
Me too.
And we talk about so many things here on the show related to entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial journeys. We talk about platforms and digital marketing here. Really all relevant to entrepreneurs. But I think today I want to talk about, a topic that's very relevant, but not always talked about a lot in our community, which is mindset. We always say like, hey, let's make as much money as we can and be successful and all of that. And that's really, of course that's important, but at the same time, what is really behind all of it, and how do we define success? What are the keys to success? And I think a lot of it has to do with mindset. I've actually been reading some books lately, and I would recommend these books to anyone, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you have a job. It doesn't matter. And I don't know, Stephen, if you've read any of these books in the past. So the first one I read was called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Have you heard of?
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Then another one called Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, which is also by Napoleon Hill. Really, really good book that talks about having a positive mental attitude. Then currently I'm reading a book called Mindset. That's just the name of that book. And it's by this psychologist called, her name is Carol Dweck. I don't know if you've heard of any of these books before, Stephen, but I would highly recommend them to you or to anybody who is listening to the show today. And I can talk a little bit about each of the books and some of the takeaways that I got. For the first book, Think and Grow Rich, all of these books are going to be about mindset and about being successful and creating a positive mindset and a positive mental attitude for yourself in order to be successful. Whatever it is you might, and success can be defined very loosely because it is so specific to what you feel success is. Maybe if you're a mom, being successful is, being a good mom, but if you're an entrepreneur, being successful is having a $100 million company. So success is very, the definition of success is very personal to each individual. But the main component that I saw in all of these books that I just mentioned is that really having a positive mental attitude and an open mind for yourself is really the way to be successful at anything. So I'll get started there, and then I guess first I'll say, Stephen, do you have any initial thoughts on what I've been talking about? Of course, I can get more into the books as we go along.
Yeah, so I just think that mindset, that you nailed it, that it's probably the most important thing, and that you feeling like, you're in the right mindset is going to drastically, I think, affect your business game and your personal game. I just think it can make a world of difference because, and when it comes to the success part, I think that is, like you said, personal, but for me, it's all about, progressing. I think as long as I'm progressing, even if I'm not where I want to be, knowing that I have a purpose, knowing that I'm chipping away at it and getting closer and closer and closer to it is probably the happiest I've ever been in my life, is when I'm progressing towards that. And then in turn, that puts my mindset in the right place.
Absolutely. That's great that you touched upon it, because one of the points in Think and Grow Rich is about setting goals, which is extremely important. So if you have, and we've talked about setting goals several times.
Talked about goals,
on this show in several episodes, but just to recap really shortly, it's important to set goals because in your mind kind of starts to work towards that. Even though the goal might be, we actually had an episode about the BHAG, which is the big, hairy, audacious goal, which is like the really, really, really large goal that you think is impossible right now to set for yourself in, say, 5 or 10 years. but having, like, training your mind to have that and thinking about it every day, even if it's just for a minute every day, but having something to look towards is important because that's how you gain the knowledge, that's how you grow, that's how you get to where you want to be. So Think and Grow Rich talks a lot about setting goals. And then the book Mindset by Carol Dweck, she talks a lot about having a positive attitude towards learning. So she talks about a couple of types of people, the types of people she calls that are that feel like they're right now they're successful and they don't want to learn, they don't want to go beyond what they're doing now. And then there's the people who from an early age will always say, hey, I want a challenge, I might not be great at things now, but I am learning, I'm getting to where I want to be, which is what you mentioned also earlier just now, is that I'm getting to the point where I want to be, and it's a journey, it's not it's not a destination. So really having that open learning mindset where knowing that life is about learnings. It's not just about like, okay, I'm perfect at my craft right now, whether it's underwater basket weaving or being a basketball superstar or digital marketing. It is a learning journey, and having that open mindset is really important to being successful. And that's really what she talks about in the book, is that there's, why are people successful? That's really she found that those types of people are the ones that are going to be successful in life.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I absolutely would recommend all three of those books: Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude also by Napoleon Hill, and Mindset by Carol Dweck. If you have the opportunity to read those, especially if you are thinking about taking a step back maybe from your business or from your job, and just really thinking about how do I get to the next level of where I want to be, goal setting, positive mental attitude. Taking your business, your entrepreneurial journey to the next level, I would highly recommend those books. Any thoughts, Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important that people continue to push themselves, because if you don't push yourselves, you're going to become really stagnant, and that is not a good place mentally, physically, financially to be stuck in. And I just think that, again, your mindset can really change the outcome of how you're going to react to certain things. I mean, a perfect example psychologically is, when you're feeling confident and you just accomplished something good, whether you closed a big account or went on a date and it went really well, like that next day, your confidence is up big time. And I feel like you're able to push yourself harder and do things that maybe you wouldn't have done. Whereas if you go on a date and it goes horrible, or whatever the case is, or you lose a big account, you're really damaged, and the next day you don't feel as confident. And I feel like that kind of shines through, no matter what, no matter how hard you try, whether it shines through internally or externally or both. But, it is really, really important to try to put yourself on a level where you have a great mindset. I just think that's crucial.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off what you said, yeah, absolutely. We will all have setbacks, and we will all maybe have a crappy date, or we might have lose an account. But really, and then she talks about that in her book Mindset, is that it's important to get past those setbacks, because if that's really where she kind of differentiates between successful people who are successful in their lives and not successful people in their lives, is that yes, we will all have those moments where we're not really feeling positive, things are not going the right way. But the successful people will get past those. They will see them as challenges, but they will understand that it's fine. It might set me back a step, but I have to get up and keep going. So that's, I think, the key takeaway that I want to share also here.
Yeah, I mean, the longer you dwell on something negative like that, it's just, I feel like, toxic to your mindset. You can't change the past. You can only change the future. So why waste all of your time? I'm not saying don't learn from your mistakes, but there's no reason to sit there and just beat yourself up for 3 months about something. That doesn't make sense to me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much. And
Yeah.
if anybody here on the show wants to share their mindset tricks, tips, we would love to hear them. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. See you guys.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you'll continue to get involved and join us as we help you find success in your entrepreneurial journey. Please follow, like, and share with others who will find this beneficial. We'll see you on the next episode of Marketing Success in Under 10 Minutes with Stephen and Jean.